So Tim, you just played about 6 hours of Resident Evil Revelations on 3DS. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I played the introductory chapters, kept on trucking past all the demonstrations I've seen in previous coverage so far, and I couldn't be more excited about the game right now, and that's why I wanted to grab you and talk about this, because I know that you're a big Resident Evil fan. This game's stacking up from what I've played to be on par with some of like the main console entries. This doesn't feel like an offshoot at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think when people see, 3DS, they're like, is this going to be just like a Gaiden or something that's not as great? I mean, Mercenaries was pretty good, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was what people really want out of when they get excited about Resident Evil.
Absolutely. People want to see Jill Valentine and they want to see Chris Redfield. They want to see a continuation of the storyline, and that's what we have here. I mean, we're seeing stuff from early on talking about the beginning of the BSAA, which is what Chris Redfield and Sheva Alomar are part of in Resident Evil 5. We meet the leader of the BSAA. We find out what Parker and Jessica, Chris and Jill's new partners, were doing with the FBC before they joined the BSAA. We find out about this gigantic floating city that's solar powered called Terra Grigia, which is...
Can you spell that at all? Or?
They turned out they may have been flirting with disaster when they put the word terror in front of Grigia.
It's supposed to be like a paradise island, and they name it Terror or something?
Yeah, Terror Grigia. And it turns out that they got hit by a bioweapon assault. The FBC tried to cover up the whole thing, and basically there's this destruction of this big city, and it's crazy, and you get to check it out from different perspectives, check out the aftermath of it. I'm very excited for this story, even more so than Resident Evil 5's story.
Now, is this post Resident Evil 5 in the Resident Evil chronology?
From everything I can gather, yeah.
Okay. But they somehow are able to touch on origins of organizations as well.
Yeah. It's interesting the way that they're delivering the story this time around. But I had a good time. We both had time with the actual gameplay, and it's stacking up to be something that you'd expect from. The gameplay is actually really similar to anyone that's played Resident Evil Mercenaries, where you're wandering around in third person, and then as soon as you hit the shoulder button to bring up your weapon, it kind of zooms you into a first person, kind of meeting players halfway between first person and the gameplay that you know from Resident Evil 4 and 5, which it feels the exact same, if not a little bit smoother, in my opinion.
So you find the single analog stick isn't too much of a problem?
No, it didn't hold me back at all. I mean, if you look back at Resident Evil 4, I mean, you were only using one analog stick, and then the other one was just for camera, but I don't miss another analog stick at all. There's talks that it may be integrated with Resident Evil Revelations, but another really cool gameplay thing, besides just the basic shooting and running around and navigating, is you get this cool device called the Genesis, which you can scan the environment and kind of focus in and analyze things, and you can find extra ammo, or you can analyze enemies and you'll get like health upgrades from that. This game's way more about survival than 4 or 5 was, and this kind of highlights that by you really having to dig around and move around in your environment to find like health, ammunition, which any Resident Evil fan knows is huge for any game in the series that has a limited quantity of that.
When you ask about 3DS, sometimes you like really love the 3D, which is rare, like in Super Mario 3D Land.
Mm-hmm.
Other times people play it for a few seconds and flip it off and never turn it on. What was your experience with the 3D? I'm
finding the same thing that happened with me in Mario 3D Land, which is it may not add like the greatest depth in the world, but it makes everything a little bit more crisp, in my opinion. Pop off the lights, throw on some headphones, and crank up the 3D, and I think that you could get into this. There's a few parts that caught me off guard. I'm not shaking my boots or anything, but the game is way more atmospheric than 4 or 5, and if I'm not immediately aware that it's helping, I think it may be. It doesn't hurt. It looks good.
Cool. And we can expect it February?
Yep, that's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely another reason to have a 3DS. You tack that on top of Ocarina 3D and Super Mario 3D Land Revelations. I'm hoping is just going to be another reason to own the system. So
great, exciting.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to try it out more.